obviously, we have to start off with our zucchini. So I've just got a medium-sized zucchini here. Now, if you are growing your own zucchini, you know it goes from this size to like the size of my leg in no time flat. If your zucchini does get that big, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna split it in half and remove some of the seeds. The seeds start to get a little bit bitter once it gets big. The actual flesh, though, is gonna be really nice still, super sweet, super tasty, and perfect for this cake. Now, getting rid of those seeds, super easy. All you do is split it in half and use a spoon and just scoop it out. This one's nice and young though, so he is good to go. All right, so 1 medium zucchini, that's about 1.5 cups of that grated zucchini, which is all you need for this recipe. Now, we're gonna get to work on the wet ingredients. I love a loaf. They're moist, they're delicious, they're tasty, they're wonderful, and they're super easy to put together. So into my bowl, I'm going in with 1 cup of white sugar. White sugar is gonna give that kind of almost crackly top, which I really like, kind of on my banana breads and zucchini loaves. Super, super tasty. Now into there, I'm also going in with 1/2 cup of oil. Now, since this is an oil-based cake, I don't have to worry about creaming my sugar and my fat together. If I were doing this with butter, like for a vanilla cake or something like that, you wanna cream it together, which basically beats up that sugar, gets it nice and dissolved, and works air into the mixture, because butter's a little bit heavier than oil, but with an oil cake, you don't have to do that. You can just mix everything in a bowl and you are good to go. So into there, we're gonna go in with 1/4 cup of milk or buttermilk, my preferred dairy, I'm not gonna lie. Pop that on in. Then we're gonna go in with 2 eggs. The eggs obviously bring a little bit of lift, they bring a little bit of binding, they help with some golden brown color as well, so that's absolutely beautiful. So far, so good. Feeling good. Okay, now we're gonna go in with a little bit of vanilla extract. If you don't have vanilla, you could do almond. That would be really nice, but vanilla is always a good thing. I play it fast and loose and free pour when I do vanilla. This and like keeping my phone battery dangerously low are the only ways I'm a dangerous person. All right, feeling good about that. Now I'm gonna give that a good whisk together just to combine. But again, since I'm not using butter, I don't need to worry about whipping this up or creaming it. You just want it to come together until it looks homogeneous, and that is looking absolutely perfect. All right, now into there, we're gonna go in with all of that zucchini. This is kind of like a carrot cake. Basically, if you wanted to, you could swap out the zucchini with some carrots. You're just looking for a vegetable that has a good amount of moisture in it. Super tasty. The good thing about zucchini as well is it's pretty neutral tasting. It's a little sweet, but it doesn't have like a punchy green flavor, so it works really, really well in here. All right, give that a stir just to combine. And now we need to get to work on our dry ingredients. So over here in this bowl, I'm gonna combine 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Now, if anybody is like one of those healthy bakers out there, I can feel people already being like, I'm gonna sub that out. This lady knows, she's like, no. Yeah. I like this is good energy. But if you wanted to sub out a little bit of whole wheat flour, I would do less than half. So I'd do 1 cup of regular all-purpose flour and then 3/4 cup of whole wheat. You can't just do 1 for 1 because whole wheat flour holds onto moisture differently, so it's just not gonna work out. You're gonna end up with a really dense loaf. But I'm going full all-purpose today because that's how I like things. All right. Now into there, we're also gonna season that up with a teaspoon of cinnamon. This is where you get the spices, the little bit of warmth, super tasty. So a teaspoon of cinnamon's gonna go on in. Then about 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. Now if you don't have ginger, you don't need it, but it gives a nice warmth. Really, really tasty. All right, now into there for a little bit of lift, we're going in with 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And a teaspoon, or nope, that's a lie, 1/2 teaspoon, keeping me honest, of baking soda. This is how you can tell I do not have my recipes written down in front of me. All off the old dome, we got this. All right, to balance out the sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt as well. And then I'm just gonna give that a whisk together. Now this is gonna give a little bit of spice, a little bit of warmth, super tasty. Now, if I wanted to make a regular zucchini loaf, all I need to do is mix this dry into that wet, and you are gonna be good to go. But I promised you marble zucchini loaf. So I don't know if anyone's made a marble loaf before, or a marble cake in general. The first time I did it, I thought I literally had to make a vanilla cake and a chocolate cake, and then somehow bring those 2 things together. But no. I'm gonna show you how to make literally any cake into a marble cake. It's super simple. And all you need is 2 ingredients. So into that bowl that I had the dry ingredients in, I'm gonna mix together 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. This is good, right, guys? I'm amped about this, I'm not gonna lie. This saved me a lot of headaches in my kitchen. And then into there to give that chocolatiness, we're also going in with 2 tablespoons of that vegetable oil or canola oil. This is gonna give you a really dense, super chocolatey mixture, which is the exact thing you need to bring everything together into a marble cake. So give that a whisk. And it kind of looks like melted chocolate. Do not taste it. This is going to be bitter and not good. So that is, though, going to give you a really dense, delicious chocolatiness. So that is looking perfect. So now what I want to do is just take about half of this batter and just dump it into that chocolate mixture. So if you wanted to do this with vanilla, even vanilla, like, boxed cake, you could easily do that. Just put about half of that in and give that a little bit of a stir to combine. And you are gonna see this batter turn into chocolate zucchini batter. So it's super simple, really easy. Now, to bring everything together, obviously we have our pan here, sprayed with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. And then all you need to do is do a little bit of like a checkerboard pattern. So I'm gonna get some of the chocolate, pop it in, some of the vanilla, and pop that in. Guys, this is an excellent audience, I'm not gonna lie. You guys are making me feel really proud of myself right now. It's also very funny because this is what I sounded like when I figured this out. I was like, oh yeah, this is so much easier. So just kind of, yeah, a checkerboard pattern is all you really need to do. And then if you want to, you could swirl it together just to give it that beautiful marbled effect. I'm gonna get as much in here as possible, or as much as I want to, because you know, we're on TV. It's not perfect, we're good to go. All right, perfect. That's looking wonderful. Now, in addition to this, yes, we've got zucchini. Yes, we've got marble cake. But I also want that little bit of a streusel-y topping, kind of like a coffee cake. You know that crumbly bit on top? Super, super tasty. So I've got a bowl here, and all I'm gonna do is mix together some sugar, some flour, some cocoa, and some butter. So first thing I need is a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. That's gonna give you that nice kind of clumpy texture, which is perfect. Then I'm gonna go into there with 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. That's gonna make it clump together really nicely and hold into those little shapes. So 3 tablespoons go right on in. Typically my ratio, if I'm making some sort of streusel-y topping, is equal parts sugar to dry ingredients. So to amp up that 3 tablespoons of flour into that 4 tablespoons I need, I'm also gonna go in with a little bit of cocoa. So a tablespoon of cocoa. Season that up with a little bit of cinnamon. I am making a mess today, I'm not gonna lie. Little bit of cinnamon goes right on in. And then again, we're gonna season that with some salt because I like that little salty crisp you get in that beautiful mixture. So add that on in. Give that a stir just to combine. It's gonna look a little lumpy, but that's exactly what we're looking for. And then to bring this all together, we're gonna go in with just some melted butter. I've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter here that we're just gonna pour right on in. My mom used to buy this coffee cake mix. It was from a grocery store brand. It was like, the president was really into it. It was this choice, you might say. It was always a good thing. There you go, we got it, nice, yeah. Jeff's got it, yeah. But my mom would always make this streusel topping in a baggie. So she'd put it in a zip top baggie and my job was like mushing it up. It was one of my favorite things to do. So just get it nice and mixed together, just until it's kind of crumbly and a little mucky looking. Then what you need to do is just grab that streusel and just kind of break it over top of that beautiful loaf. That's gonna give you some texture on there. It's gonna be really, really tasty. It's gonna bake up kind of crumbly and delicious. Then to bake this, all you need to do is heat your oven to 350 degrees, just a standard baking temperature. And I'm gonna pop that in for about 50 minutes to an hour. Anytime you are making a loaf, it takes way longer than you want it to. That's the only thing I don't love about a loaf. But once that's risen up and absolutely stunning, you end up with a little loaf that looks like this. Which, like, look at the amount of streusel on there. Like, so good. And you can see from the side that beautiful, beautiful marble effect. That crumbly top, look at that. Look at that. Looking so cute. Oh yeah. See, I had to keep cutting, so we got the best, most marbly piece. Look at that little piece of loaf. That with a little cup of tea, a little cup of coffee, and you are a happy camper. And yeah, getting your greens and a sweet treat all at the same time.
Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.